It all began like any other late-night segment on Jimmy Kimmel Live. The audience was hyped, the lights beamed, and the mood was playful as usual. Samuel L. Jackson, a frequent guest and known for his bold personality, was invited to promote his latest movie project. Everything started off smoothly. He walked out onto the stage with his classic swagger, donning a stylish suit and that unmistakable presence that only Jackson can pull off. Jimmy greeted him with a wide smile, and the audience roared with applause. What nobody knew was that things would soon take a wild turn. Jimmy cracked a few light jokes, trying to keep the vibe humorous. At first, Samuel chuckled along, but as the questions became more pointed, a visible tension began to form. Jimmy asked about a controversial moment Jackson had on a recent press tour, and instead of skirting around the topic, Jackson chose to confront it head-on. His tone sharpened, his expressions grew intense, and the energy in the room shifted. What was meant to be a fun interview was quickly becoming a verbal chess match. As Jimmy continued, his jokes began to feel more like jabs. He mentioned a tweet that Samuel had posted criticizing a certain film studio, and even brought up past remarks the actor had made about Hollywood politics. While these topics are often part of celebrity interviews, Jimmy's delivery had an edge to it this time. Jackson leaned back, looking unimpressed, and retorted with a sarcastic, "Oh, so we're doing this now?" The audience gave a mixed reaction as some chuckled nervously while others fell silent. Samuel's tone was no longer playful. He reminded Jimmy that he's not just an actor, but someone who speaks his mind without apology. He accused Jimmy of trying to turn a serious conversation into clickbait humor. Kimmel tried to de-escalate, saying it was all in good fun, but Jackson wasn't buying it. The two exchanged a few more sharp words. Jimmy's smile faded, and the air grew thick. It was clear that Jackson felt ambushed, and Kimmel was struggling to regain control. Then came the moment that changed the tone of the entire night. Jimmy made a comment about Jackson's age and relevance in modern cinema. It was meant to be a playful jab, but Samuel took offense. He leaned forward, pointed his finger, and launched into a passionate monologue. "You think just because I've been around for decades, I don't know what's going on in this business? Let me tell you something, Jimmy, I'm more in touch than half the people running Hollywood." The audience went wilder, some cheering, others gasping. Jimmy raised his hands in a gesture of surrender, but it didn't calm Jackson down. The actor stood up and began pacing slightly, visibly frustrated. Crew members behind the cameras started exchanging concerned glances. Jackson continued, speaking about how talk shows often try to simplify complex issues into jokes and memes, and how that contributes to a toxic media culture. It wasn't just a clash of personalities anymore, it was a clash of values. Jimmy, trying to bring the energy back to a lighter place, attempted to change the subject. "Let's talk about your new movie," he said with a forced grin. But Jackson wasn't ready to move on. "Why, so you can turn that into a punchline too?" he snapped. The audience was now completely unsure of how to respond. The typical laughter and applause signs from the studio crew weren't working. Kimmel tried again, "Come on Sam, this is a comedy show." But Jackson didn't back down. "And I'm a real person, not a punchline. Maybe you forgot that." The tension was now boiling. Jimmy paused, clearly caught off guard. He looked at his producers off camera, then turned back to Samuel, asking if he wanted to take a break or continue. Jackson crossed his arms and said coldly, "I think we're done here." And just like that, he removed his microphone and stepped away from his seat. The audience gasped again, unsure if this was all part of a bit. As Jackson walked toward the edge of the stage, crew members scrambled to manage the unexpected situation. Jimmy stood up, calling out, "Sam, wait, come on man, let's talk it out." But Jackson didn't stop. He waved a dismissive hand and walked off stage without looking back. The camera cut awkwardly to Kimmel, who tried to recover by laughing it off, saying, "Well, that was intense." "Let's hear it for Samuel L. Jackson." The clapping was hesitant, unsure whether they were supposed to support what just happened or not. For the first time in a long while, Jimmy looked genuinely shaken. The show cut to a commercial break earlier than scheduled. Behind the scenes, the production team scrambled to figure out what to do next. The incident had clearly not been planned, and the repercussions were already starting to unfold. By the time they returned from the break, social media was ablaze with speculation. Clips from the heated exchange were already circulating online. Fans were divided. Some defended Samuel L. Jackson for standing up for himself, while others criticized both men for letting things spiral on live television. Hashtags like Jackson vs. Kimmel and talk show drama began trending. Media outlets picked it up immediately, labeling it everything from a meltdown to a moment of truth. Meanwhile, neither Samuel nor Jimmy released an official statement right away. The silence added more fuel to the fire. Rumors started spreading as some claimed Jackson was banned from returning to the show. Others said it was a publicity stunt. But insiders from the production team later confirmed, Jackson had indeed walked off on his own, and there was no plan to bring him back, or at least not anytime soon. The producers had been caught completely off guard. It wasn't just an awkward memento, it was a full-blown PR incident that would dominate entertainment headlines for days. The aftermath was just as dramatic as the incident itself. Entertainment news sites ran polls asking readers whether Samuel's outburst was justified. Interviews with body language experts broke down every gesture and expression from the clip. Think pieces were published about celebrity treatment on late-night shows. Meanwhile, fans of Samuel L. Jackson flooded his social media with support. Comments like "You told him," and "You're a legend for speaking out," appeared by the thousands. Others called for Jimmy Kimmel to apologize on air. The pressure mounted on both sides. Finally, after almost 48 hours, Jackson tweeted a short message: "I speak my truth. That's what I do." It didn't directly reference the incident, but everyone knew what he meant. Jimmy, on the other hand, remained silent. His next show aired with a noticeably toned-down monologue. He addressed the incident briefly, saying, "Things got a little too real last night. No hard feelings." But for many, that wasn't enough. Behind closed doors, ABC executives were reportedly holding emergency meetings. Jimmy's show is a major property, and an incident like this posed both reputational and financial risks. There was discussion about whether to bring Samuel back for a reconciliation segment, but sources close to the actor said he wasn't interested. "He said what he said," one insider commented. "He's not doing damage control." Meanwhile, other celebrities began weighing in. Some praised Jackson's candor, while others warned about the dangers of unfiltered live television. The entire industry was talking. For a brief moment, this wasn't just about one interview gone wrong. It became a symbol of larger tensions in media and celebrity culture. Should stars be expected to laugh off every question? Should hosts have more sensitivity when tackling serious topics? These were questions being asked in writers' rooms, on podcasts, and in green rooms across Hollywood. The ripple effects of that one segment were undeniable. In the weeks that followed, the show's ratings fluctuated. Some viewers tuned in hoping for more unscripted drama, while others boycotted the show entirely. Kimmel's usual charm seemed slightly dulled, as if he was walking on eggshells during interviews. The producers became more cautious about which guests they booked, and how interview segments were structured. As for Jackson, he appeared on another talk show a few weeks later, where the host carefully avoided mentioning the Kimmel incident. But Jackson brought it up anyway, saying, "Sometimes people forget you're a person. I don't play that game." The audience applauded. His reputation as a no-nonsense figure only grew stronger. His latest film performed well at the box office, and the incident on Jimmy Kimmel Live became part of the lore that surrounded his legacy. While some still debated who was right or wrong, most agreed on one thing: that was one of the most unforgettable moments in talk show history.